Hi everybody, I am Julia from Julia K Art Studio, where I mostly make handmade watercolors. But today I have a sketchbook tour, and it is between July 2024 and January of 2025. It is currently the end of April. But yes, so basic fact, it's a royal talen art creation in pink color. It is dirty and scratched up, and I think this is my third. I'm pretty sure this is my third this size sketchbook that I have finished. I'm currently working on number 4, but yeah, obviously I like them. Yeah, this was a really rough time for me, and I think we're going to tell looking through the sketchbook. So yeah, again, the date of finish and starting, and I'm going to mention right away that all of these stamps are made, these date stamps I should say, I used the Paige Evans by American Craft, and I don't know what collection this is from, but it's one of her latest ones. And a few years ago, they were so easy. Almost everybody who made a scrapbook collection had like a roller date stamp, but that was quite some time, and this was the only one I could find that had the year. But I am very annoyed that it's not in the right order. But you know what? I'm just the main thing is I'm dating the stuff because I forget, and it's really nice to look back, especially when I work in Sketchbook where I'm not chronological. So I just put a post-it note over it, and then I doodled some flowers with water-based markers. I also have a quilt square. I've been working quite a lot with that geometric shape. Starting off with just some horse doodles. When I don't know what to draw or I just want to get going, I like to open up Pinterest, and usually, for me anyway, there's a lot of horse pictures. Either that or I go into the saved images on Instagram. That's what I did on Thursday, and then one on Friday. And then I think I had started this page like the day after or a few days after, intending to do sort of like the same, a small color palette and just stitching and doodling, but then was interrupted. I had some leftover paint, and usually I put it in my sketchbooks. I also have the art creation, the A4, 2 of those that I do the same with, that I'm just using sort of as to clean my brushes off, and then that gets the foundation for other stuff later on. Here I wanted to do something, and on my desk I have this little tin with Neocolors 1, and those are my favorite. I do also have a collection, of water-soluble crayons and gelatos and various brands that I use sometimes, but I do really love the 1 series. So this is one I can easily grab with me, and then I have like the longer ones in their special tin. So here is just acrylic paint, and then violets or pansies on top of it. Sort of the same again, just paint being left over, and then I started doing like stinging nettles. Oh yeah, this is prep for my nephew. He had his naming day, and just some ideas. I made a card with sort of this motif on it, and because me and my brother, we were like the godparents of him, so we decided to give him a tree so he could grow on this farm where me and my sister or our family lives and have grown up. So he has roots here too. I thought that was fun. I think this has to be one of my most favorite pages. in this sketchbook. So first it was just about trying to do texture. So I have used my own watercolors. I have used Disa and Dorotea over here. And what I did is on this side, I used a white pencil. So I made dashes and circles. And then here I used a white acrylic brush marker, like a Karen marker. And did and then I went over with watercolor because I want to see what kind of texture I would get. And I'm really happy with them, obviously, because it's a favorite page. I had spent all this time making this grid on this page, and I was going to do something, and then I think I was in a phone call, and I just used this page to just like have something to do, and then I was like, I can't remember my grand plan for it. So more of this quilting motif. I had an idea that I wanted to do a Halloween, like a sticker or a card or something with Franz and Viola. This is the previous sticker I had made with them. But it didn't come to anything. So, but there's some fun ideas. I was looking through a book and I saw this ad and I just really loved the shape of it. So did that. Some collage of some random paper. I can promise you I was going to clean my desk, and this always happens. I'm like, oh, I could throw every piece of paper away, or I can spend several hours cutting into them, you know. Some doodles. Here I had this idea. I wanted to do a heart, but the heart would look like it was had broken and been mended porcelain, so different pieces of porcelain been fixed together with the gold effect. And in the end I made one piece with gold that I gifted to my friend, and I made one without gold, and I have that as a sticker in the shop. Some knitting. I think this is a cardigan for my nephew, looks like. And I bought a little yarn bundle from Denmark, and I got a sticker. Again, wanted to do something, so opened Pinterest. Well, first I did some just swatches with my pink and reddish watercolor in different tones, and then with just a pencil do the different things I saw on the first page. Okay, so this is also one of the favorite pages. Obviously it's poodle themed, and I really love going to the auction site we have in Sweden. I know, like, in the rest of the world it's eBay, and I think technically eBay owns this site, but it's called something else. So it's eBay, Swedish eBay, whatever. And I just typed in poodles, and I got these little ceramic figures. There were some jewelry and brooches, and then I don't know if there was a motif on a sweater or on a bag or something, but these little poodles were on something, and I just had to add them in. And I just get so happy seeing this weird page with people's different takes on the poodle. And if you didn't know, I have a poodle. His name is Albert, and he's very shortcut. But yeah, it's really fun. Oh, speaking of, my mom and dad, they have a kennel. They do not have poodles. I am the sole poodle person. But yeah, I was sitting outside and I just draw the the puppy place that we have. So we have an outside area up here, and then when the puppies arrive, so we usually have like 1 litter per year, we put up this ramp so they can easily go up and down. And then they also have a place here that is like a raised up bed with a tent over it, so they can lay outside if they want to, but not lay on the damp ground, and still have shelter for the sun or anything. And then they have like the whole thing is fenced off, and then the rest of the garden is for the big dogs. So I just tried to capture, because we only had 3 puppies. So, and then I also made this, this little sketch. And Albert is obviously not here because, ew, puppies. But we have the mother, which is Uni. She's here. And then we have Herman. He's a little bit like, not too sure about it. And then the puppy from the previous year, Yaru, he is definitely not interacting with those little monsters. But we have 1 who's falling asleep, and then 2 who just want to be part of it. And this place is just, the ramp is on this side, so we have the stairs. But it's just really fun to try and capture some everyday moment like that. Some more paint that I came back to a lot later. Same thing again. Paint, and I really like this color scheme. And I'm sure I wasn't feeling very well the days I went in and made this figure. Some Snape. I had this grand plan that I was going to do, you know, the Kinder Egg challenge, opening up a Kinder Egg and then being inspired what was inside. And I got a little Snape figurine. And yeah, I just didn't have the energy to focus on doing this and filming and then the after work of it. So yeah, in the end, this is what I came up with, and I had a lot of fun. And yeah, some more just paint over because I did this with alcohol markers, so that bled through. Some watercolors. And here, I think I had started this page, but then I had ordered some new stuff. So yeah, here it says like November 11th and 15th. So I just went in a lot more. So it's soft pastel and oil pastel and color pencil and watercolor, and yeah, I had so much fun. And I really like the vibrancy and like the color scheme of the really tealy turquoisey flowers with this rich magenta color. Again, started with some form of acrylic, and I thought, can I do watercolor on top of it? And I could. And then I went in with a pen because it was so hard to see. You know what? It's actually not watercolor. This is the Neocolor too. Yeah. And that works well, like over the acrylic. I was really surprised. So more just acrylic paint, and like I said, normally I would go in and do something on top of it, but I just really like the texture I was able to get here. Some more acrylic off swatching. And I don't know, but I took out this golden ink from Winsor Newton, and I had used it for something else, and I was like, I want to use it more, so I made some stars. And it's very shiny. But yeah, really nice to use. Some face sketch, some more Pinterest stuff. I watched some YouTube video. I'm going to link her channel down below. Cannot remember what it's called right now. Again, Pinterest, just to get stuff going. I didn't finish it, and I can see I was having quite some, like, I wasn't having the best time. Yeah, if you didn't know, I have a chronic pain condition, and also I have fever every day. Why? We still don't know. Right now, the most hopeful hypothesis is post-COVID, but still don't know. I'm on year 3 of not knowing. But so I have a very limited energy supply. So that's also a bit of a thing, like how much time do I want to spend in this sketchbook that I usually use to like get going and warm up for the time. But right now it's like I don't get to warm up because once I have like started, I'm almost always very tired. So yeah, I can see that I didn't finish it. I can also see like here I was getting really tired. But I still tried to do something. I had listened to the Troy book by Stephen Fry, his version of the story of Troy. Or the Iliad, sorry. His version of the Iliad and the Odyssey. I listened to both of them and they're amazing. Obviously, Stephen Fry is just amazing. I think here I did one of those, you know, you just take a handful of markers and then just took some random references and I was like, can I still make them work with the colors, just thinking about them as a value instead of what color they are? And I think it worked really well. I had a little bit of issue with this to look like the snowbank is coming down, but I'm actually surprised by how well the colors work together when I was just thinking about them in the values. Some more Neo color too. I actually really like, it's a bit tricky to see, but sometimes you get this really fun texture with them depending on how much water and the paper and all of that. But I really like that weird little texture thing you can get with them. And then I just took a green water-based marker for the background. So that just beats. I thought that was fun. Some watercolor, and then I was working on something else, and I had mixed this iridescent flaky stuff with it, and I was like, I can't throw that away, so it ended up in here. Some more watercolor thing. I really had this grand idea that for Christmas I wanted to do like a coloring advent piece. So doing all of these tiny little icons, they're very traditional Swedish or Nordic Christmas. But I didn't finish it again. But it was fun to sit down and do like all of these little icons for the different days. Another image I saw on Instagram, and I think you can tell her Instagram name, Lena Mass, over there. And again, I started it and then I sort of couldn't follow through with the energy that I wanted to have. But anyway, I spent quite a lot of time here, and I really should have sprayed like some form of fixative on it because I used mostly my Derwent drawing pencils because they are my favorite. But they do rub off a little bit. But I did make them a few days apart, and I do have the Instagram account, and I've also put down what date they posted the different images so I could find them again. But this account have a lot of Iron Age, Nordic Iron Age, like reenactment photos, and that was really fun to do that. This is my acrylic paint palette. A little concept sketch of Franz. Here he is at a beauty salon to get his hair trimmed. If you didn't know, Franz has exactly 2 strands of hair, so. Some notes that I just stuck in here. This was Lucia, which is one of my favorite traditions here in Sweden, where you come together and you sing, pretty much because it's traditionally the darkest time of the year. So you sing about Lucia and how she brings light into the darkness, and then she has all of her maids and, actually not sure what we call the men with the pointy hat with a star on it. You know, trying to explain your traditions is really weird. Yeah. For Christmas, my mom had bought this little plastic sled for my nephew, and she wanted me to cut out in vinyl like his name, and I was like, oh, I bet you I can do one better. So I decided a logo for him. Now, when he was like still like in his, like, you know, infant, when he was actually not born, that stage, my sister referred to him as the ghost, because maybe it was that he was hard to spot when they were doing like the ultrasound, something like that. So throughout the pregnancy, we called it spöket, or the ghost. So I made a little logo for him, and I recently cut it out of vinyl for clothes, so she put it on a little body, so he has his own logo for his own t-shirt. Again, some acrylic, and then, yeah, I think I just took different color pencils and then like tried to see like how I like them together. Like if you swatch like the dark red and you switch it to a really vibrant red, or you have a really moody red, like how it affected different color schemes. And then I took the last one and just made a sketch of a person. I have a list of traditional names of cows. And then this one, I spent so much time on it and it's so not good. But it's a photo my mom took of a bull, and it was really nice, you know, it was backlit and very moody and very effective, and it doesn't look very good. But yeah, anyway. Some random doodles. Yeah, some more doodles of tiled ovens. Some notes about paint palettes. I'm pretty sure I posted this on Instagram, but it is, I keep all of my tiny pencils in this little pot here. So all the other pencils are like in, you know, flower pots, but it means that when they have reached a certain height, I can't see them because they like get like buried in there. So one day I didn't know what to draw, so I just took out all the pens I had at the time and I just drew them. So now I can come back and see that, oh, I have used that one a little bit 5 months ago. But this one I haven't used that much. This one, is it this one? This one, I think I've used a little bit. So that's pretty fun. And I also thought it was pretty fun to see that the pens or the pencils that I've used the most, I wouldn't have expected. Like there's a lot of purple, there's a lot of green or bluey green, and then orange, and like warm yellow orange. And I was like, I would not have expected that to be the colors I've used the most. Now, it could also be that because I know like some of them, like for example, this jasmine one and also this other one from Prisma, the yellow ochre, I know that they break a lot, so that's kind of unfair. But with the Derwent ones, and also the Faber-Castell, like I don't think this one is part of this image, but they are just very well used. Also, like this one, which is the crimson, I wouldn't have picked this to be one of the colors I use the most, but it actually is. I think this is my second one. So yeah, the green ones, I'm not surprised at all. But the orange, yeah, I was a little bit surprised. Some washi tape. I saw these and I just took a little bit of each to put in here. So Burb Fest, hosted by Monkey Mintaka, and she does this, I think, every January, or she has taken over, but the Burb Fest is every January, and you get 31 prompts for birds, and I think this was like the 4th of January, so I was like, okay, I'm going to make them really tiny and like catch up, and then, you know, but then I had so much fun, and I think I've talked about this series before, but it was such a good time. So I made all of these during one day, and I just took my trusted very blunt Neocolor ones. You can sharpen them obviously, but I don't, and I just had so much fun looking at the different birds and trying to do like the most simple version of them that I possibly could, and just like to see if I could like still see them, see like what kind of different bird it is, but keeping it very, very very loose, and it was so much fun. I went in with this background color, this bluey purpley color. It's one of my own colors. It's called Aconitum, and I just wanted to have a little bit more depth to it and have a little bit more framing, but also I really like how it looks when I use the white one as a resist. And I just had a really good time doing all of these. I think this one has to be one of my favorite just because of the legs, and yeah, and because it was such a good experience, I actually decided to write a little bit about it, and I think that this is something I would like to do again because it was so freeing to do, and it helped so much having those prompts, so I didn't have to think. It was just like Google the image, how can I get the idea of this bird down on paper, enough for someone to sort of know what kind of bird it is. So yeah, so it was just the Neocolor one, the Aconitum for the background, and I did went in with like a white pen just to highlight the eyes, but I think that is all the stuff I used. So yeah, that was such a good time. Some horses and a zebra in acrylic marker. I don't have a date on that. That feels so weird. Okay. A post-it note and a beginning of a sketch. Again, something started, didn't have the mental capacity to work on it. So, oh, this is a video. I got some new acrylic markers. So I swatched them out and did a little sketch. I think afterwards I went in with a grey water-based marker. Some more sketching with acrylic markers. Yeah, because I've smeared this. Some more, like this is all very traditional north of Sweden type of style painting. Some color swatches. I think this could have been, you know, like what I prepped before I started looking at Pinterest. So like I'm setting off this square to do something. But I really like the idea of it. It is the Jane Davenport layer cake color wheel. I love the idea of it. I think the idea is it's sort of like a watercolor gouache hybrid type of thing, and it's really, really pretty colors, and I really like this format. I think it's very fun, but using it, it just, I don't know if you can tell on my fingers, but it doesn't stick to the paper. It's very chalky. So yeah, I try to use it because I think it's fun, but I have a hard time because you sort of need to have some form of fixative on top of it. So yeah, here I had something else and I just started painting over it and then painting something else over it, and this is how it ended up. Again, some stuff I had bought on and I had bought these were new to me, the paint markers, like actual paint. So they are in a solid form. So I have this amazing fluorescent pink, and then I have this that is like a rainbow. So the traditional rainbow pencils. They smell something awful, but I have painted with them, but I do save them for when I sketch outside, because inside here, absolutely not. But I do really like them. The markers I got from Temu are looking like this, with a little brush tip, and some of them are really good, and a few of them leak. Like, they don't leak as in the ink flows out of the pen, but it comes out way too much out of the actual nib when you're writing. So I use a few of them, but I don't use all of them, or I have to be careful. But I do like them. Some Ecoline too, and then I had got these. Oh gosh, where have I put those? I think they have put those in my my travel kit that I have in my purse. But it's one of those ballpoint pen where you have 4 different colors, and I really like especially this one, which is magenta, turquoise, brown, and yellow, because obviously you can get so much colors from them. Very, very fun. Here I have, like, this day I made so many. So all of these, what is that, like 5 pages? So it started out with me having a fountain pen that I had cleaned out and put in new ink, because I'm like, I'm going to use it. So I started, and then you can see that really black, and then not so black. And then it just, it finished out. But apart from being really annoyed with my fountain pen, it started these pages that I did during this session that I am so in love with. So started with the black ink, and then we moved on to my rainbow pencil. I have a few in here because I use them quite a lot. So I have a few of them on the go all the time. These, again, I bought them from Temu. Well, I actually don't know if I actually bought them or was one of those like get for free kind of stuff. But I have had really bad luck with them, that they break a lot. But I have found if I sharpen them with a knife, it's a lot better so far anyway. And I love sketching with them. So I picked that up instead, and then just continued with horses. And I just had the best time. And I have gone back to these quite a lot. And actually what I have done in my other sketchbook, I don't know if you can tell, this is a new A4. Well, I still feel like it's new, but I have had it for quite some time now. But what I've done is gone back to older sketchbook and collecting my horse sketches, so I have them in like in one place. So that's a few of them. And yeah, some more there and some more here. Because I just use them so much, and I have them in 2 or 3 different sketchbooks. So now I have all my different poses in that big black one. But yeah, so I wanted to do like something else the day after. So I made a giraffe. And then this one, I really like this one with the chickens. So we have chickens at home and I have tried to draw them, but they're either like way too close or they're bored so they go away. I'm still working on the right technique to get them what I want them. I just wanted to do something so very, very sketchy page. Again, something, I had some grand idea that didn't pan out. Milk. Started with just like milk cartons and then more like milk vessels, you know. But I do really like it. I think it's really fun. Some more traditional painting styles. And yeah, I think this is, I don't know if they were, I think a lot of them were like on one image on Pinterest, and there were like tattoo ideas for something, and I was like, oh, that looks like it would be fun and easy to draw, and I used one of these in a reddy shade. But I can definitely tell just by like the lines and where I placed the lines, and like I was really tired, but I still wanted to do something. A way better day for drawing. Used some pink and purple, looks like, and just some historical paintings to draw from. I really like the mouth of both of them. I'm working so hard to get better at likenesses, and I think it's really fun to draw old photos or old portraits. Here's a sketch from 30th of April 2022 or 2020, yes. Some Neocolor too, but I dipped them in water. I just wanted to do something. Oh yeah, and then the last day of January I was like, I'm going to finish this sketchbook so I can start my next sketchbook on the 1st of February. And I think, well, I have actually written here that I did start on the 1st, but technically I started on the 5th. Anyway, it was so important that I finished it. So I gave myself, again, I'm just going to use my Neo colors and decide on a theme. So fruit. And then I was like, until I think we had dinner, like, because it was a weekend. So like until it's time for like our dinner, I'm going to cram out as many as possible. And I'm really happy with them. And it's very similar to the whole bird fest, how I tackled that challenge. And I'm really happy with what I did here too. And yeah. And I'm really happy with the texture of it, and also with the values. I really try to use like limited colors. Obviously you can't blend them, but you can layer them. So like, how do I get this dark without a black? Again, I say limited, but, and like, how do you get volume if you just use yellow? Well, you use purple, don't you? So but I had such a good time, and I'm so happy with, like, I'm happy with the time I spent. I had a really good time, but I'm also happy with the results. I think it looks really fun. And then I was like, okay, the last thing I'm going to do is olives. And this is how far I got. And I was like, should I come back and finish the page? Because it is very, like, it's the last page. But I decided to not do that. It's just so fun because I know I made this like into a challenge for myself, and see like how much I could do in that afternoon if I just focus on this, and don't think too much, and just letting it sort of flow. And this is how far I got, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, that is my sketchbook. Not as many finished pieces, but well, even like not as many pieces I'm like really happy with, but I'm perfectly fine with that. It was a really tough period. I'm still in a tough period, and I still have pages that I'm like really happy with, and some pages I'm like, but I had fun, and it feels really nice to have a sketchbook where I feel like I don't need to perform in this sketchbook. I don't need to create masterworks or anything. I can just have ideas and working and figure stuff out, or just take like notes as in text, or just visual notes, and that's fine. And I really like that for these sketchbooks, that it is so freeing for me. It has really changed how I have progressed in my art, because I feel like it's a safe place. Obviously, like, it has worked because it's my third one, and yeah, and I think it's a combination of the attitude you have to your sketchbook, but also for me it's knowing that the art creation, the price for it is relatively low, and the paper, you get a lot of pages, and it's good enough to have a little bit of watercolor on it, and you can like use different mediums in it, and it still takes it. And I just, yeah, that is, I think, my ending my ending rant about this sketchbook. The light is coming in, so I think it's time for me to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed looking through this sketchbook with me, and hopefully I will see you again when it is time for this one. But this one is only like a third way through, so we have quite some time to go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.